You're listening to the WCEN podcast. Hello everyone, I hope you're all feeling very well. My name is Peaks and you're listening to the WCEN podcast. Now the main reason for this podcast is to keep the communities and multi-faith networks informed on services, how to access them and keep their spirits uplifted during this global pandemic and everything that's going on. This is a platform to share and express the needs and the experiences of what is happening in the communities and the different things that we'll be doing to cope with these current situations. We're going to be speaking to faith leaders, members of the public health sector, people who work in key places, faith leaders, key members of the community, everyday people, mothers, fathers, whoever it is, everybody that's got something to share. We want to hear from them on this platform, and that's what it's for. So on today's show, we have Mohamed Ali, also known as Mualim Mohamed Ali. He is the founder and director of Elays Network, Quran teacher, public speaker, mentor, father, and community advocate. So please welcome Mohamed. Thank you so much. Are you there, Mohamed?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, lovely. Can you hear us okay?
I hear. Fantastic.
All right. So, yes, what we'd love to do is just get a bit more background information on who you are, what area you come from, a bit more about your community work and things like that you do. So if we could get a bit background about who you are and your journey, and then leading up to this kind of current situation that we're in right now.
Yep. My name is Mohamed Ali. I was known as Mualim Mohamed. I've been living in Wandsworth since 1999. Mid-1999, and I founded an organization called Elays Network. It's a community organization since 2003. The essence of this organization is to help engage the community and develop, especially programs for young people to lift up the young people and give them right guidance and everything. I came from Somalia, and Wandsworth was the first place that I lived in. My background is I'm an Arabic teacher. I teach Arabic and I teach Quran, and I also do a lot of videos and things like that online for young people and for the community as well.
That's it. And so you say that you're from Somalia. So can you give us, what was life like in Somalia before you, and what made you decide that you wanted to come to Wandsworth or even just to the UK?
I think my story is it's been repeated many times throughout the years, through the migrations, because of civil wars that took place in Somalia, same as civil war that's taking place now in Syria and, other countries like in Afghanistan and other countries that brought so many migrations and migrant communities to seek safety. So number one for me and for many fellow Somalis is to actually seek safety and run away from, the war back home in Somalia. And that brought us to UK. And then I lived in Wandsworth from the start, as soon as I arrived here. So basically, migration comes up with a lot of things. There's the traumas, there's so many needs. Some people come with a hard way to get to the UK. Some people take a longer way to come to the UK. However, whatever migration is, leaving your loved ones and back home where you grew up and everything, and moving into a new society, learning new language is, it's got its own pressures and, hard things that comes with it. Adjusting, and also as well trying to keep connection with back home, keep connection with the family back home, which many migrant community go through. And that's why I thought setting up Elays as organization is to bridge that gap and help, the people who come to the UK from Somalia, and especially from migrant community Somalia, if it's like from other countries, migrant from Africa or Asia or other communities, to try to settle in this country. So it's important, to put something in place for this community in terms of translating, supporting, helping these communities to settle in the new home. And this is exactly the thing that I needed when I came to this country. I needed that host community, that support network that when I came to this country that wasn't available that much, but through Elays, I tried to create it, not for me, but also for fellow migrants, or especially fellow Somalis as well.
I mean, in
Yeah.
terms of okay, so you said that you came here and there wasn't a support network. What was kind of like the thinking behind that, and how did you come about to actually get it kicked off the ground?
I think the first thing I've noticed is through the people I knew when I came to, I didn't know many families, but the thing I noticed, there's a lot of miscommunication in one household, especially in the Somali household. The mom speaks the Somali language. They have the tradition, the heritage. It's 20 years ago now, so. And on the other hand, the young people who grew up in this country, they still transition between their mother tongue language into this adopting new language and new identity. So there was kind of like an issue, misunderstanding between communities. And also the parents as well had so many issues. The first thing I've realized was the parents who tried to communicate with schools, GPs and hospitals and things like that, statutory bodies, in order to get the support they need, like, for example, financial needs or anything. They had the issue of misunderstanding and not understanding actually what the system's like. So I found that there's a gap. The first gap I found out, the issues within schools, because the young people was failing because the kids did not know, the parents didn't know what the kids were learning and they couldn't give them the support they need. So I set up educational kind of things, helping young people with mother tongue, Arabic, Quran teaching, maths and English and other activities in order to bridge that gap and give the parent the extra support they need. In order to meet their children's aspirations, and also as well try to help the kids to get a bit better attainment at school and also keep up studying and continuing to progress. Yeah, so that's the main thing that's actually made me set up the first time Elays as education, and the first group that I had was Somali young people, I was teaching them Arabic and Quran and, other extracurricular support and things like that. And also the main aspect wasn't only just the teaching aspect as well, because the migration issue, the fathers has to go and find jobs, and they were doing cab driving and things like that. So they didn't have enough time for the kids. So I've tried to set up something called like role model. So I'm thinking like, if me teaching these kids at school, at home, at these settings, will see me as Somali male role model who is not like, because if they go to school, they find no Somalis at the early stage of, when people arrive in this country. So, but when they see me, they will see in after school setting, teaching them, they will look at Somali male from different angles. That Somali male is someone who's engaged, who's helping, who's teaching them. He is Mualim. And from there, the kids around me and parents around me called me Mualim and then become now Mohamed Mohamed, well known as Mohamed Mohamed.
Okay, and the name, the meaning behind that name was?
The Mualim Mohamed means
Yes.
The teacher Muhammad.
The teacher Muhammad. Wonderful.
Teacher Muhammad, yes.
As named by the people. So
named by the people.
That's
yes.
very important. And that community that you build is obviously, this is kind of what people need more than ever right now. So if you could take us into maybe your partnership and your affiliation with WCEN and the kind of works that you guys have been doing together within the community.
I think very stage 2005, 2000, when we started set up the Elays organization 2003. That's when the organization was founded. But I was working before that I founded the organization. Then 2006, 2007 is the time that I met Malik from WCN, and that is the first time that, there's a lot of changes that's taking place inside WCN. And, for me, teaching in the community and running activities outside there, like in different settings, Malik was and WCN in general, gave me the first platform as giving me an office space that I was needed very much, printing equipment, desks and things like that, a place that I could run my activities and plan my programs from. From there, it was like history after that. We had very good engagement with WCN from way of start of Elays organization till now. Developing many projects throughout the years, consultation projects for NHS, GPs and other organizations, mental health organizations, mental health, department as well. We did a lot of work. We did projects like, short films, Ayan, with MOAM, WCN, and other organizations as well that came up. And then with this collaboration, we produced enough work, that we are very happy and proud of up to now. And also this work as well helped us as well keep young people developing products that gave them skills, ability, raise their confidence, and also help them aspire and reach high places in school. The first group of Elays that we worked with in this kind of project is the young people who now become graduates from universities. They're doing very well now. Many of them are parents, are very successful people in the community.
So going up to now, obviously, we all know how important community hubs are and your culture and everything like that, and these places where you're operating from. Now that we're 4 weeks, gone into almost 5 weeks into this lockdown now, the UK is obviously, everybody's having to adjust. So how did you come to hear about it, and how has your community been adjusting now? How has things kind of changed for you for now?
I think from the first time when this virus started taking place in Wuhan in China, people thought about it is like far away from us. It's not going to reach us. But the speed that it came to us was like quite like shocking, to be honest with you. We, as organization, Elays, we've been doing a lot of development and refurbishment in our building for the past almost a year now. With the help of other, the Wandsworth Council, Battersea Power Stations and other organisations, that we developed the centre. And as soon as we finished in January, all the work and everything, this virus came. And so before even we start relaunching most of our programs and everything, the minute that we started to getting our pace, this lockdown came, and it was really difficult for us as an organization in trying to quickly adapt the new. We were fine in terms of, because we were already locked down, so we were working outside from offices and things like that. But the community that we built in order to run the programs inside our building, it was kind of shocking to all of us, as in we had to stop our after school sessions, we had to stop our youth club, we have to stop our pensioner club. So many things has to be stopped as well as our face-to-face advocacy work, which is like the core thing in Elays at the moment. A lot of support that people need with social services, with benefit support, with debts and things like that. All of that has to stop. So it's impacted us because we cannot communicate with the people the way we used to communicate with. However, with the community, on the other hand, is kind of like, BME Community are the hardest hit. So far, we're gathering, a lot of death within the Somali community, minicab drivers, bus drivers, a lot of male Somali who's actually been affected, a lot of Somali women carers who's been affected. A lot of these services, Somali is in the front line of this epidemic at the moment. A lot of Somali nurses who works in nursing home or as well in hospitals and things like that, as well, they come back from their work into the households where they live in overcrowded situation, and trying to adjust between coming home and not affecting people in the house, and how people feel of what what these individuals have to go through in order for them just to enter the house after a long day work is like staggering. And we listen to stories from the community, which is absolutely shocking for the Somali community in terms of trying to adapt, and the consequences as well of the death of people and things like that.
Obviously, within your community, you're saying people have been affected and then they've come. So is there maybe a story that's kind of stood out to you of somebody that you're maybe dealing with, or how you're handling that situation to offer the kind of services that you can over maybe through consultations or whatever?
I think the stories that we're trying to get to the people is now stay home. That's the main thing. Somali community, it's like with vibrant community. A lot of Somalis works in, like as I said earlier, Uber drivers, so taxi drivers, and that's they're self-employed. That's the only way of living. Some of them live in private accommodation and things like that, and then they feel that they have to go and earn in order for them to keep a roof over their heads, and also because they don't understand, what is their right. The only way for them is to go there and be active and do something. But that results in people like maybe going out and spreading, like maybe the virus and things like that around and things like that. And how we came up with is like we try to address it through Islamic teaching. We did a video that's been received hugely in online, where we talked about it from Islamic perspective, how the connotation used to take place during the Islamic era, long time ago, and that is the Prophet saying that people have to stay home, and not if someone in a city or a village where there's the virus or things going on, that the people from that town shouldn't go out, and the people outside the town shouldn't come back in. So we try to portray these messages and also support people who need us to speak to individuals within their whole house who don't want to listen or something like that. On the other hand, we also kept our lines open for people to call in if they have issues, for example, like self-employment issues and questions like that, and we give them guidance and things like that, and reassurance that the government is actually supporting them to stay at home. So this the thing that we actually, as in Elays, we've been doing recently.
In terms of the services that Elays Network is are you able to operate just now? Is there any services that you're still able to offer the community that they can know about?
Yeah, we at the moment as you said, we do our advocacy. It's called advocacy programs on 5 days a week. We receiving a lot of phone calls for support from the community, and we helping them. We using the internet and the technology in order for us to help this community. For example, we get them to sign consent form electronically, and we get them to, like we call the council and other departments, maybe Department of Work and Pension on their behalf. We give them support as much as we can through this one. The other thing that we are launching today is our online platforms, kind of like for the young people, aimed at the young people. It's kind of like podcasts, but in terms of like Islamic teachings and things like that, but on podcasts that we're going to be launching today. These activities that currently we're doing, we keep doing a lot of things that we're trying to adapt, until this lockdown ends. But majority now we're trying to run our classes online. We have Google classes. We try to support parents who need support with their kids' homework and things like that. The kids who used to come to our sessions and things like that. We offer these services as well.
Excellent. I mean, obviously, I mean, you are a father. I mean, you have your children at home now, as everybody else does. But the thing is, you are actually a teacher as well. So, how are you kind of adapting to that as well? Is there any kind of difference about how any kind of tips and advice that you could share with other parents who are maybe children are maybe bored or they're having kind of like, okay, how do I keep them still learning and stuff? Is there anything as you, as a teacher and a father, that you can share?
I think definitely number one is actually understand. Number one is to understand that the kids actually themselves are frustrated. They don't understand. We can't understand what lockdown means and why we can't go outside. But for the kids as well, is to explaining to them and not think that they just automatically will understand. That's
Yes.
the first starting point. After that, it's trying to adapt to the programs inside the house and have a set timetable for the kids. So the best advice is, I've been trying to use is use the school timetable. When the kids have to wake up early and then get them to do the homework. No technology is allowed except for learning until after 2 o'clock. We don't run until 3:15 the way the school, but after 2 o'clock, that's where my kids after 2 o'clock they could go into watching the cartoon or whatever activity they want to do or play games and things like that. But before that, up to 2 o'clock, they have to do their work. And the work divided between maths, English, and science. The core subject teach them Arabic and Quran. So this is the 5 subject that they have to do every single day before they move into doing other things and maybe watching Netflix, cartoon, or something like that. So having that understanding and trying to communicate with kids and not being forceful to them at this stage is really important, and try to get them to understand. One of the best tips for parents, normally if you um, try to force an agenda on a child uh, without explaining what this agenda was, why you want it that way, the child normally will resist because he doesn't understand it. But what I find very useful is for me to explain to the kids, this has happened, and because of this happened, we have to do this and this and this. Therefore, your task is this. You found them much, much, much cooperative at that time.
Excellent. Some very good advice. I mean, I think in terms of children, you can take for granted just how they'll be able to just cope or just get on with it. So that's some really good tips there. And
Yeah.
yeah, so in terms of this global event that's happened, how has things changed for you and your perspective? I mean, has your outlook on life changed? How do you kind of view things now, or is anything not changed for you?
Um, Basically, uh, as a father, as a member of the community, as an active person in the community as well. I'm thinking not only for myself, for other people as well. I think one of the things that really shocked me, as I said earlier in the interview, is the speed of things that change. This world becomes a village. Things that took place in China and it's already here, and then it's spreading across the world, and the impact that have in our daily life, and I think it's going to continue having in our daily life for years to come, is huge, and things like that. My It's two things: is adapting the present life and how we could be flexible and come up with new ideas in order to get by in our daily life, and also thinking ahead in how to make things easy for us going forward, because this might continue for quite a long time, or at least the impact of it, financial impact on it, and households. I'm worried in maybe I'm thinking about my household, other people's household. We know there's a lot of people now signing in signing on universal credit at the moment. I think 1 million, 2 million people now they're saying, and that number might might exceed that as well. And the implication of that on our community, I think is what we have to be ready for. And I think it's not something for one organization or an individual like myself to be a part of. Like if we're a charity, we're part of a whole charities and community networks that will actually going to face it. So the best way of doing something is actually to collaborate together. WC and the work that WC is doing, maybe with the local mosque as well, to unify our force in order to deal with what's going to happen down the line. But if we try to deal with it individually, I think we're not going to win.
Of course. I mean, community, as you said, this is what's keeping people going. I mean, as a community leader, everybody kind of takes your roles for granted. You're always there, you're on the phone, you're helping this, you're organizing that. But for yourself and for other community leaders, I mean, how do you guys, how do you unplug? How do you recharge to keep yourself going? Because it's very important as well that we're giving all this advice out to the community and stuff, but you don't want to kind of take your roles for granted as well, so that you kind of keep your mental sanity. So, I mean, some good advice how do you keep yourself recharged, and what advice would you give to other people who are also these leaders that we always think they're strong and they're always available to us? How do you keep yourselves, recharged and keep on going as well?
I think number one is, for me, to be honest, faith is number one. I recharge by connecting to, my God, by praying, by asking God, by crying, by, talking to God to get me the strength and everything. The other thing as well is strength as well, through maybe communicating and talking to similar mind people, to share ideas, to maybe express frustrations, speaking to Malik from WCN, speaking to Imam Ahmad, speaking to other people as well, Sheikh Sulaiman Ghani and other people, to tell them, about how we feel and how the situation. This helps us to maybe, reduce the frustrations that we're in at the moment, and as well to and that will keep as well sanity, to be honest with you, and cope with the issues. For example, now sharing my feelings with this interview, talking to you, is kind of me releasing, the things in my head, which is quite a lot, to be honest with you. So having that connection with a broad group of network, having a network of people that I can go to is very important. As well, in our community, within our Elays community, we have our regular meeting where we discuss things, where we share issues that we're coming across, and then we try to find solution to it and things like that.
Yes, and and lastly, in terms of community empowerment and everything that you're saying, there's services available, there's advice, and there's news that people can listen to. But what do you think in all of your years, what's the most important thing that you've actually learned about the power of community as well? How can they take things into their own hands and just keep things moving in a positive direction, united as a community?
I think if you look at it, community is the grassroots of any society. Community is you and your neighbors and the people around you. The first impact is the people around and how you cope with it. If you find out more about how the people, your neighbors and things like that, how they cope and what help they need, that's how the community organization, they bring that and they just make it more structure. And then they make this available in either community settings or online setting, as we're doing at the moment because of the lockdown. I think unity and knowing what's happening around you in your local area is absolutely important. And being able to be open-minded and reaching out to people and asking them if they need help is very crucial thing, because without going and talking to people and being proactive by asking how are you, simple how are you, while you're standing on a bus stop waiting for a bus, to someone who's next to you, it will unleash a lot of issue that person might be struggling with, and you can't help them with. Simple as that. So what we do with our settings is we broadcast videos online, on YouTube and things like that, and tell people if they need any help to come back to us. And also we put in things like a survey questionnaire where people completed and sent back to us and telling us what they need, what their issues are. And then after that, we use the internet as well in terms of putting forms where people write issues that they're affecting them. And what we do, we communicate back to these people by phoning them, identifying their needs, and then as well try to support them by linking them with the right departments and things like that. I'll give you a quick example. Like recently, we called on a lot of people, and maybe about 50 people got back to us. And then we start calling each individual people, and some of them they didn't need any help, but there's some people who needed help, immediate help, as in food and things like that, and they couldn't fill anything like online and things like that. So we gave them the support they needed, but also we completed the form on them for them online, and they were contacted by Wandsworth Council, who's going forward with the help, giving them the extra support they need. So, but if we didn't do this kind of questionnaire or asking the people, we wouldn't know that.
Exactly. I mean, we can't take for granted that everybody's, technical savvy and they all have internet access and stuff. Some people don't. Some people don't know how to use it and things like that. So, so that's some great initiatives there. And on a last note, is there any words of advice and uplifting about coming through this current situation that you can offer the community? And then if you can just drop us some of your contact details that people can find you on in regarding your online podcasts and regarding your services that you still have on offer.
Definitely. The word of advice, I think, be together, stick together. I think we're going to go through this one as people. Humanity all the time made the progress and came out from so many different things. As a person who came from war-torn country, things had changed for us. And even for example, people will normally adapt the new reality. People will move on with their lives. So it's only a matter of time. And time will actually show us that, the issue that we face in at the moment, or maybe we're going to face at the end, it's going to come to an end. So always be patient and just continue working very hard in collaboration with others. And then the light will come at the end of the tunnel. In terms of the services that we provide, we have Elays Network in YouTube that people can watch our videos there. We have our website, www.elaysnetwork.com, where people can access more of our information. If anyone needs support through this COVID-19, we have a dedicated email called covid19@elaysnetwork.com that people can reach out to us, and all our details are available online and everything. So we're here to help. We are part of the community. We've been here for 17 years as Elays Network, and we'll continue working in collaboration with all partners in Wandsworth and in other parts of London as well.
So thank you so much for the services that you're still offering everybody during this time. And when it comes out, and I'm sure everybody's going to be all the much wiser in how to move forward in the most productive ways. So thank you for your continued work.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, Mohamed, and take care.
Thank you very much. Take care, Bix.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
So that was Mohamed of Elays Network. If you want to check it out, we'll have all the links that you need in the information box down below. Please share, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. And if there's anything else that you'd like to offer in terms of tips, experiences, or feedback, then you can contact us on info@wcen.org.uk. If you want to, you can also go and check out the podcast shows and be updated with all the recent news and developments on www.wcen.co.uk. If you want to find out what the latest healthcare and guidelines are, then please go to www.gov.uk, or you can check out www.wandsworth.gov.uk. Please stay safe, stay well, and if you found value in this podcast, please consider sharing it with somebody else, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and stay well. You're listening to the WCEN podcast.